All right, on the bench today, out of a 2002 BMW 540i with a 4.4, we have the ZF5HP24. And we have 100,000 miles on the clock. And the problem is no reverse hot. Okay, we did do a code scan, had a couple of misfire codes present, no transmission codes present at all. So no reverse hot. It's a common but not so common problem. Okay, the number one problem, as you know, is the A-clutch breaking because of the pressure regulator valve bore wears out, which causes pressure spikes, and it blows the A-drum, so it slips on the pull-away, stops moving. That's the number one problem. Reverse also is a problem with these transmissions, and that is because the common thing is the F-clutch piston becomes debonded. Now, I move this around myself, and reverse, when it's cold, reverse is fine. I was just kind of moving it around a lot and you know, bringing the car around and bringing it in to have the transmission pulled. But even when the car was picked up, I sent a couple of the guys to go pick it up, and they made a stop on the way back, and they left the car running. Really never felt a problem. So we're dealing with one of two things on this problem. Either the F-clutch piston is debonded, or the hollow shaft that splines into the C-drum, the bushings are worn, causing the apply oil to leak when it gets hot and slip or no reverse when it gets hot. I've had this problem one other time. Years ago, I actually did a video on it. All right, the car came in, the typical blown A-drum was an X5. And then, you know, it was a friend of mine who did the transmission, and then he called me up a few months later. He goes, oh, you know, I went to back up, and the car didn't go backwards. I'm like, really? You know, and that's odd because, you know, I didn't think anything happened to the F-clutch piston. So then I started doing some research and found out, you know, about the bushings on the hollow shaft that's splined into the C-drum, because you have the F in the C-drum that's on in reverse. So it's one of the two. So when we tear this thing down, I mean, you can't really tell by looking really at the bushings if they're worn. A lot of times you can air check it, and you'll see the fluid maybe come pouring out in between. But I'm going to take the F-drum apart. We'll do the tear down. I'll take the F-drum apart. We'll check out the piston. Can't really air check it. But if the piston looks okay, I'm going to change the piston, and I'm going to get, Ericsson's actually sells, they make the bushings, so they make their own, and the tolerance is really nice. So I usually buy the piece from them and give them mine as a core. So that's what we're going to be looking at, either a problem with the F-clutch piston or the C-drum, or the C-clutch. The hollow shaft that feeds the C clutch. All right, now, the fact that this thing moved forward is, you know, was great. So we know the A clutch is good, but as part of my standard overhaul, the A drum is getting changed. The lower front half of the valve body is getting changed, because I'm sure with 100,000 miles on it, there's still some form of wear. So even though we're dealing with the reverse problem, I'm going to be addressing the common problem of the A-drum getting blown. So that is all part of a standard rebuild procedure for me. It's getting a new drum, and it's getting the new lower front half of the valve body. All right, so it's after hours. I'm going to be leaving now. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to catch up with you guys, and we're going to open this up and see what we got. All right, so I will catch up with you guys in the morning. All right, back with you this morning. So let's get into tearing this down. I'm going to start, I want to get this belt housing out of the way. So let's get all those 17 bolts out, move the belt housing. always one. All right, one left. All right, put this aside for now. So I'll take this stinger out. You know, we can also take the front section out too. So I'll just put this aside. Here is the C drum, which is what is on in reverse. This is the bearing also that always gets changed. Bushings don't look bad, but normally these come out a little tougher. You know, when you put these, this thing slid right out. I wonder if there's just an issue with the O-rings. But I'm not going to take a chance on that. Now it's like huh. So this is the piece with the two bushings in it that wear out, that will make you lose reverse when it gets hot. So those bushings will be a problem. All right, now, flip this thing and get the valve body off. Actually, you know what, I'll take the extension housing off, but first I'll get this clip out here. Okay, is that it? Let's get this out first. This won't come out until we take the valve body off, but there's a shim that I don't want to lose, so I want to take that out. This shouldn't come out yet. Okay. Let's get the pan down. Not sure if this transmission was drained or not. Roll 27. And then a little extension for this. Somebody probably serviced this trans at some point. It's not an OE gasket on here, but pan's clean. And it looks like they also did another big no-no on this and put an aftermarket filter in. Let me just get rid of some of this oil here. Just by looking at it, all I can see is like an engineering number here. Yeah, this is the aftermarket filter. That can cause some problems. That's definitely a no-no with these. Alright, so here's the output speed sensor. Speed sensors are the same. The input and the output. If you're getting an input or output speed sensor as a test, you can always swap the sensors. See if the code changes. So again, regardless, that we're dealing with a reverse problem, this is going to be changed. I'm going to get another drum. With the larger bolt head. I want to push this through also. Looks like you might have one more. body. Okay, now this will come out. Okay. Get this feed tube out, and then we got to get the little seals out with the springs and the little snap rings, so we can get the center support out. There's also a big snap ring in the case there. So let's work on this. I had one of these in an Audi 5HP24 it actually had a cracked tube. It was split here at the seams. I happened to notice it, but a lot of times what you can do with these tubes is you can block one side with your finger, get like a vacuum pump, and put the hose around it and pump it up, make sure it holds vacuum. You know, so one way to check these tubes. All right, little snap ring pliers. We'll get these little snap rings and springs out. And get the seals out. Okay. Little snap ring here. They're both the same. Go. One more. Sometimes it's a little tough coming out. Go. I love this little bolt I got from a Honda transmission. Works great. Okay. Alright, now we have the snap ring, and I like a lot of times the snap ring where the opening is, to get a screwdriver there to pry it, the snap ring opening is all the way on the other side. This one's right here. So this should come right out, no problem. There we go. All right, now center support. And again, these things got to be like perfectly straight. Okay. All right, center support. Pilot set out. Just center gauge here. Pilot. All right, so now we got the F drum left with these torque 40s. So that is when I use my shocker. Here, I'll do a couple of them and I'll just get them out. Just pick this up a little bit. Use my tool here. And loosen right up. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Alright, so they're all loose. Let me get them all out. These are the bolts. You know, of course, if the heads go bad or you strip them, trying to get them out, you can get them separately from Ericsson's. Case is stripped. Let me just get rid of some of this oil, and then the first thing we'll do is open up this F drum. I'll take it over to the press, get the split ring out. We'll see what the piston looks like. All right, I will be right back. All right, so let's check this out. Let's get the snap ring out. All right, sprag. Alright, so what I want to do now is take this over to the press, and I'm going to get the split ring out here. And we'll see what the piston looks like, and then we'll continue checking out the other, looking at the pump and the drums and clutches, and finish this up. Alright, so just want to take a look at this. So I will be back in 2 minutes and we'll check the piston. Okay, so we got the ring. Split ring is out. The return spring is good. Check the piston. So there's no real debonding here. You know, this piston seems okay, so I'm going to have to go with, more than likely, the bushings in this hollow shaft are worn, causing a leak of the C-clutch ply oil for reverse. So we're definitely going to have new bushings put in here, along with, of course, a piston, you know, banner kit, the whole deal, and that should fix us up pretty good. All right, we have an O-ring here. Got a piston. Bearing here. Okay. And again, this bearing this bearing that goes here has an extremely high failure rate, very high failure rate. So this bearing gets changed regardless. Good or bad, it gets changed. Okay, here is a hub, and the race to that bearing is in here. So you just got to get it, you know, kind of snaps in, so you got to get underneath it and pop it up. Okay, bearing here, that went there. Another bearing. A lot of times when that bearing goes bad, it'll tear this skinny O-ring, cause it to slip on the pull-away. But I'm changing this drum anyway. Okay, not bad. Clutch. Right, C. Again, this bearing is in place. Clutches are probably going to be okay. Just when it gets real hot, you just lose reverse. This is, again, this is the second time I'm seeing this problem with all these ZFs that I did. The clutches are okay. Well, a little dark, a little burnt. Probably from losing some pressure, but you know, not bad. Here's the D. Another bearing here. And then there is a sleeve with a couple of O-rings. Right here. And this is the E. Looks good as well. Another clutch hub for the E clutch. This thing will just pop up. Here we have a bearing race here. You got an O-ring here. I don't want to forget to put that in. Okay, a little skinny O-ring. And now you can take this whole setup generally is pretty good. You know, I just kind of take it apart, clean it, and put it back together. All right, just note which way this goes. We have the planet come out. We got a bearing here. Going to take the sun here. Then we have another snap ring. And the other one. There we go. So that's how that goes apart. Now we're going to get these 27s out. We'll check the pump. two in there so I can just tap down. Okay, here is the pump body in here, so we have this dowel pin here. Pop it out. Pump plate. Looks good. Okay, so we got the pump gears, and there's a dot on each one facing me. Okay, that looks good. Also, this race, bearing race goes here. All right, now we want to check we're going to take the flow control valve out. On the Audis, like the 5HP 24As, you can't take these out. You just got to make sure that they're nice and clean and free. But this one I can take out. They give you a new end nut. Okay, there's the end nut. That'll OE kit. It comes in the kit. All right, the spring seat, and let's get the valve. Okay, that's what it looks like. All right, so I think that's really about it. Now when we get the valve body here, go fast look at the valve body. So again, you have your input speed sensor, your output speed sensor. They're both the same. When you have the valve body out, you want to inspect back here, make sure that it's not cracked, but you'll have a drivability issue if it is cracked. It'll kind of fall out of speed when you come to a stop. And of course, the lower front half is where the pressure regulator valve lives, right here. And that bore tends to wear, causing pressure spikes, causing the A drum to crack. And that's it. So we got this BMW 02540 4.4, and we had no reverse hot. The F piston seems okay. Of course, it's going to be changed, but it's very possible that the bushings inside here are worn out, causing the car to lose reverse when it gets hot. Because I moved this car around when it was cold, I mean, it was perfect, no problem. And I would think if there was an issue with this F clutch, if it was starting to debond or something, you would have a problem all the time. So I'm leaning towards the bushings in here being worn out. Second time I've seen that. All right, so I just want to show you the wear in these bushings. So this is the original one that splines into the back of the C drum. All right, and this is the one with the new bushings in it. So I'm gonna put this in. I want to just see if I can get a little closer here, just so you guys can see. So now I'm gonna hold this. If you can see that moving back and forth. All right. And here's the one with the new bushings. No movement at all, zero. So this tolerance of these bushings has to be really, really tight. You know, kind of like the 6HP26s when the rear stator bushing wears, when it gets hot, you know, you lose 4th, 5th, and 6th gear. Well, this one, these bushings are worn, and when this is hot, it loses reverse. All right, it's not common, but this is the second time that I've seen this. The F-clutch piston was good, so no reverse, hot, totally hot, it would have to, the oil is bypassing these bushings here. So that is something to remember. Again, it's not too common, but this is the second time I've seen this. Also, I wanted to say one other thing. I got the OE ZF overhaul kit, and I was putting together the C drum. All right, so here's the outer seal and the inner seal, and I'm looking through the sub kit, and there is no inner seal. So I just figured, I don't know, maybe like a packaging error or something like that. So I called Ericsson's and spoke to Nat, and I said, you know, I bought this OE kit from Transtar, and I took out the sub package for the C kit, and then he said, there's no inner O-ring in there, right? I said, correct. He says, they're not putting it in the kits anymore. I'm not really sure why, but he does have them separate, so I bought a few of them because, you know, I do a lot of these transmissions. So I wanted to let you know that as well on the OE ZF 5HP24 kits. He also told me on the OE ZF 5HP24A, like the Audi, you got the 2 plugs that go into the pump because the bolts go all the way in, and then you put 2 plugs to keep the fluid from leaking. He said those plugs do not come in the kit anymore. And he said that might have been like a clerical error. They punched in the wrong part number or something like that. But on the later kits, like I just bought one because I just did an Audi, they were there. He said it must have been an older kit. So you may have to buy those separate, you know, he sells that stuff also. So I just wanted to let you know, once again, thanks for watching.